Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Today's show is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Log on to mintmobile.com/chatsports for plans starting at just $15 a month. We'll tell you more about what they do coming up later in the show. A special at-home edition. You may notice no fancy graphics or anything like that today. There was so much Seahawks news that even on my off day, I had to bring you guys the latest Seahawks news and what's going on with this team that we couldn't wait till Monday. And so with that, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. The dedication that we have here, even when I'm at home enjoying my Saturday, I'm still able to bring you guys Seahawks content. That's the type of dedication we have here on the channel. Subscribe now, turn on those notifications as well so you never miss a moment of Seahawks Today. It's youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Now, here's what I want to do today. With this busy week that we've had, I want to kind of put a bow on this week with training camp and the other news and notes that have gone on. So here's my takeaways from this week of what's gone down, a weekend review of some sorts. I have a few things that I want to run through, and I want to start with the DK Metcalf contract extension. 3 years, $72 million. A lot of money for DK Metcalf, it may seem, the way that it comes off the page with $24 million a year, but relatively speaking, the Seahawks are doing just fine. He's the 6th highest paid receiver now, and with the money that receivers have been getting, the way that the market just took off this year, I think it's a pretty team-friendly situation, in all honesty, because if they were to wait and let DK have another big year, that price would go up way higher than what it is. And so with that said, I look at it, DK could have really pushed this and could have demanded more, but instead they got this done, and they know he's going to be here for 3 years with this money. It's a win-win. And in DK's case, at 27 years old is when this contract would end. He has an opportunity to get even more money. So it's not a long-term deal. I think for the Seahawks, your one negative maybe is that it's only 3 years. But for DK, I think that's a big positive because there's going to be a whole lot more money out there in 3 years from now with wide receivers already getting a lot of money as is. It's going to be intriguing to see. And so now you can kind of move forward after this contract extension. Look, it has been a tough offseason. Right? You lose Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner, and all of that, everything that's gone on for the Seahawks team of what they've moved on from. And now this feels like the light at the end of the tunnel. The reset button has been smashed for this Seahawks team that they can finally start to move forward. That's the way I take from this is that it's the beginning of a new time of Seahawks football, that it's a step in the right direction, that this is your foundational piece for this franchise for many years to come. He is now the face of the franchise. No question about it. This is DK's team going forward, in my honest opinion. I'm excited to see what he can do, and obviously there's going to be a new quarterback under center this year, but no matter what, DK is going to be the number one guy. He's going to be the face of this franchise for years to come, and you've had that established now with this new contract, and he's making way more than anyone else will either. $24 million is what he'll be paid, which is, the next highest player makes about $17 million. So, quick question for you guys. I want you guys to weigh in the comment section. True, false statement with what I just said. DK Metcalf is the face of this franchise going forward. I think so. You're about to get an ad break. Take advantage of it. Well, the ad's playing. Let me know if that is true or if that is false. Type T for true. Type F for false. If DK Metcalf is the face of this franchise going forward. I say he is. If that's true, type T. If it's false, type F for false and let me know. All right, a couple more things for you. Let's talk about the quarterback competition. And here were some of the updates that we got this week. It's Geno Smith and Drew Lock, right? Jacob Eason's a non-factor in this quarterback competition. It's these two guys. And in day one, both guys struggled. Day two, both of them looked decent. Not great, not bad either, but just decent from the reports that came out of Renton, Washington with these two quarterbacks. But one of the big things was that the vast majority of the first-team reps went to Geno Smith by a large margin of those first-team reps. And hearing what Pete Carroll talked about of where Geno's at and how much he knows this offense, I think going into this, my thought process was, okay, Geno's got the edge, but Drew Lock wasn't that far off, that this would be a pretty close competition. Now, as we've moved forward here, based on this first week and what we're hearing from the coaching staff, this seems to be like Geno Smith is up here and Drew Lock's like right here right now. And there's a ways to go for Drew Lock to try to earn this starting job. Not saying he can't. And I feel like the quarterback competition doesn't really begin until we get to the preseason anyway, those live games. But nonetheless, Drew Lock's got his work cut out for him. If he wants to win this starting job, there's a ways to go to get there. But nonetheless, Geno Smith right now with the edge, as it seems, for this quarterback competition for now. But when we get to that live game action, could be a whole different story. But for the time being, everything points to that this is Geno Smith's job to lose at this point in time. Today's show presented by Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile is a wireless phone company that is actually owned by actor Ryan Reynolds. And we're dealing with some tough times, right? You know, it's not cheap driving around these days. Gas prices through the roof. Inflation just nuts. So you're probably trying to find ways to save money any way you can. Why not save on your cell phone plan on America's largest 5G network? That's what Mint Mobile offers. And you can sign up now at mintmobile.com/chatsports. Save some money. Plans starting at just $15 a month. Unlimited talks, text, data, mobile hotspots, everything in between. Mint Mobile's got you covered. Check them out right now. mintmobile.com/chatsports today. So a couple more for you. Let's talk about Jamal Adams, the injury that he suffered this week. The news came out on Thursday night that he broke his middle finger on his left hand. Expected to return to the team before the season begins, week 1 against the Denver Broncos. And it's the same hand that he had the finger fusion surgery on. So that's significant. And where it leaves the Seahawks for now, this is an opportunity for Ryan Neal to step up in that safety role, to play alongside Quandre Diggs. But it's not great. This is not an ideal situation, but by any stretch. I mean, you're paying Jamal Adams a lot of money. Signed a 4-year, $70 million extension last summer that made him the highest paid player in the NFL at his position. And we know the talent's there with Jamal Adams. No one's questioning that at all. What I do wonder is his accessibility. How available is he going to be? If we're 1 week into training camp, we're not even putting the pads on yet, and he's already dealing with injuries, that's not good. That's not a great sign. Now, maybe this is a minor thing. He's going to, sounds like, hold off on surgery till after the season, as Ian Rapoport reported. Apparently what happened in Adams, he got his finger caught up in another player's helmet, which led to the injury, according to Rapoport. Adams will be wearing a club during practice and a special cast during games this year. If he elects to have surgery, it will not happen until the season is over. So, quick question for you guys. Are you worried about Jamal Adams' injury at this point? I'm a little worried. No cap. I'm a little worried because we've seen injuries. And as players get older, it doesn't get better necessarily. So the fact that we're already at this point, week 1 in training camp, and there's an injury issue with Jamal Adams, that doesn't make me feel good. So are you worried about Jamal Adams and his injury? If so, type Y for yes. If no, type in for no. Let me know in the comments section. One more for you, the retirements this week. Chris Carson, but not an official retirement because the Seahawks are still getting him paid, getting him that extra money. And then KJ Wright, the former Seahawk who played for the Raiders last year, he officially retires. And both these instances, with Chris Carson, very sad story. The way that things ended like this with the neck surgery and all. He says that he still wants to find a way to come back and play. Possibly he hasn't ruled that out down the road, but a very unfortunate situation. KJ Wright, meanwhile, good 10 years in Seattle, 1 year in Vegas. he's made it known he wants to be around this Seahawks team. You hope to find a role for him. John Schneider's already indicated he wants him in a non-playing role of sorts. And so if you can have KJ Wright in the building, I don't see anything but positives from that. To me, that's a win-win if you can have KJ Wright involved. But nonetheless, two big impact players, some of the more notable names when you think of the Seahawks the last few years, Chris Carson and KJ Wright calling it a career this week. Some pretty big news there. So with that, we got to go. Thanks for joining us on this special edition of Seahawks Today. Back in studio on Monday. We will see you then, even on my off day, bringing you to this show. Subscribe, show us some love here on the channel, and subscribe today, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Join the Noti Gang as well. Turn notifications on, and you'll be a real one. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll have the latest from Seahawks Training Camp, all the news and rumors for you next week here on the channel. Subscribe and never miss a moment here on Seahawks Today.